everybody, and welcome to Wilfrid Laurier University's Waterloo campus, kind of. Today, we are going to be taking you on a virtual tour of our campus just so you can get a little glimpse of our community. We will be going through a lot of the details, but just in case you missed something, we do encourage you to check out all of our webinars and additional resources that will be posted throughout the semester and into next year. So as said before, we are on the Waterloo campus right now, but we do have campuses that offer programs in Milton, Kitchener, as well as Brantford. Just before we get started, we would like to acknowledge that our Waterloo campus is on the traditional land of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples. And without further ado, I will just introduce myself. So hi, everybody. My name is Brianna, and I'm going into my 4th year of English and Geography with an education minor. The reason I chose Laurier is because I'm from 14 hours north near Thunder Bay, Ontario, just at the tip of Lake Superior. And it's a very small town. And as soon as I came to Laurier, I really felt that strong community feel, and it made me feel right at home, which is part of the reason why we've been voted #1 in student satisfaction, career services, and volunteer services for the last 4 years. On top of that, our campus is located, it's central to one city block, which means that everything you need is within probably a 10-minute walk. So if you're like me and don't like getting up early in the morning, you can wake up at 8 a.m., do what you need to do, grab a coffee, and walk to class before 8:30. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my friend Connor.
Hey everyone, my name's Connor. I'm in my 3rd year of computer science on the Waterloo campus. I love Laurier more than anything else. I'm involved in a lot of different things on campus, whether it be working on campus or volunteering for different services, volunteering for orientation week, whole bunch of things I do. But the main reason I chose Laurier is that sense of community Brie was talking about. It's just contagious. The second you step on campus, there's kind of an energy about the place, and it just feels so nice and so welcoming. So that's the reason I chose Laurier. So I'm going to introduce Wendy then.
Hi guys, I'm Wendy. I'm currently in my 3rd year of the BBA program, and this is my 2nd year as a student ambassador. I love to play Ultimate, and I'm actually the president of the women's team here at Laurier. I also chose Laurier because back when I took a tour, I remember going around and actually being able to visualize myself walking the streets and going to classes, which was kind of strange at the time, but it was definitely a sign, and now I can honestly say that it's great to be a Laurier Golden Hawk. And now I'm going to introduce Holly.
Hi guys, my name is Holly. I'm in my 4th year of the music therapy program with a minor in psychology. And I chose Laurier for a lot of the same reasons as everyone else, just the community feeling that I got immediately stepping on campus. And I also chose it for the music therapy program, which is the one of its kind in Ontario. It's the only undergrad music therapy program in the province. So with that, we'll head into the music building and I'll show you guys around a bit. All right, so this is the lobby of the Maureen Forrester Recital Hall. We will head inside. It is a beautiful performance space. Oh, look at that. Yeah, so this is one of our 2 main performances spaces in the music building, and you will have an opportunity not only to watch performances here, but also perform yourselves in master classes or in your ensembles. And we actually have free weekly concerts. On Tuesdays at noon, we have a student recital, which you can sign up to participate in. And on Thursdays, we have a noon hour recital, which is often faculty or professional musicians coming in from the community. These are free concerts to all Laurier students, not just music students. So you can go get your fix of music for the week every Thursday. All right, now in terms of program, our audition process, you will audition on your main instrument or on a variety of different instruments if you're going into community music. After your audition, you will have a theory placement test as well, an interview with one of our really awesome faculty members, and then we'll also look at your top 6 grade 12 grades. It's a combination of those 4 things that admit you into the program, and you will choose either the community music stream or the common year stream. Depending on which stream you are in, there are a variety of different programs you can specialize in after your 2nd year. Some of these include composition, theory and critical analysis, performance, integrated musical arts, and more. Or you can apply for the music therapy program, which is the program that I'm in. Really awesome feature of this program is that it includes the 1,000-hour internship that you need in order to graduate. And upon graduating, you will be ready to write your CBMT certification exam, which allows you to practice music therapy both in Canada and the United States. why study music at Laurier? So you've seen the space, you've heard about the programs. What makes it so special? As everyone mentioned before, there's a really strong community feel all across Laurier, but particularly in the music program. I might be a little biased there, but the professors are so welcoming and they're award-winning faculty members. We have practice rooms, tons of them, subsidized accompanists, and tons of really amazing opportunities. I'll just give you a little taste of one of those opportunities. In my second year in choir, I got to perform in the chorus for the professional opera Carmen with the KW Symphony. That was crazy for me as a piano major, just in a choir for like a fun choir, just for one of my credits. I got to sing in a professional opera. So there's tons of opportunities like that that you will get to have in the music program.
I personally love the music building. When I came on a tour for Laurier, music was one of the options I was looking into, and everyone there was so nice. They were so welcoming, and that recital hall is amazing.
Definitely. I was so intimidated when I came to the music open house, like, oh, I'm never going to be able to perform on that stage. And like now looking back in fourth year, I've performed there multiple times and loved it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so now we're in the Business and Economics building, Lazaridis Hall. It is one of our newer buildings, with Mike Lazaridis being a significant donor to its construction. So what I always say is if you have a couple million lying around, then you too can have a building named after yourself. Right here, we have the Schlegel Center of Entrepreneurship and Social Innovation, which houses a lot of resources, supports, and opportunities like workshops, talks, and competitions to turn your entrepreneur dreams into a reality. And then right over there, we have the Math and Stats Lab. It's something that helped me a lot in first year. It's run by upper year students, so it's nice that you're able to get another person's view on how to do something, especially if it's a complex topic. And then right in that corner, we have our Byte 75 Cafe. And at Laurier, we always say where there's a study space, there's a coffee place. So as you can see, there's a lot of couches, tables, chairs to study here. The second and third floor all have are all lined with edge tables, which is where you'll usually find me. And there's a lot of private study rooms here as well. And then right there along the very back wall, we have something called Prism Resources, which is a rental service where you can rent chargers, laptops, cameras, projectors, and more. It's a great service. I'll usually go there because I frequently forget my charger for my laptop. It's really quick and easy and so much closer than walking all the way home. It's also a great place for part-time employment. Now, this is home to our BBA and economics programs, which is direct entry. So you start learning business fundamentals right from your very first year. One of the things I loved about our BBA program is that we are particularly focused on casework and group work. Each year we have a defining challenge. So in first year, we have something called New Venture, where you and 5 other students come together and create a product. And throughout the year, whatever you learn, you get to apply it to your product or service. So you learn how to market it, sell it, and finance it. In second year, we have the IKEA Sustainability Challenge, where students in groups of 3 to 5 tackle sustainability issues and relate them to business practices. And if you make it to semifinals, you even get to take a trip to IKEA. This room right here is LH 3094. It's a lot where a lot of your first year business classes will be. It's a bit of a larger class size because first year is a bit more general, so we needed this large to accompany all of you guys. And now back to your path of BBA. In third year, we have ICE Week, which is Integrated Case Exercise Week. And it's when a real business comes in with a real problem, and students must apply what they have learned in all their classes for each functional area. And then by the end of the week, present their solution to the business in their group. In fourth year, you can pick your specialization if you want to. You don't need to specialize. And this is nice because if you do want to specialize, then by now you would have experienced a little bit of everything, which helps narrow down what you actually want to do. So you can specialize in human resources, marketing, accounting, finance, supply chain management, and more. Also here in this building, we have our economics program. So you can choose to pursue just an economics degree, or we also offer the option of economics and accounting, economics and financial management. The economics and accounting degree is great for those looking to become an accountant, as the program is CPA accredited. The economics and financial management degree is more geared towards those looking to get into investment banking or a finance position, as it focuses more on factors influencing income, wealth, and well-being. We also have our BBA program, PBA and economics program with or without co-op. And we do have the largest business co-op in Canada. And I'll talk a little bit about co-op later, so stay tuned. But for those interested in doing business on the side, so people not in the BBA program, we do offer something called the management option. And an option is basically an enhanced minor and requires you to take 6 to 10 courses, depending on what option you're looking on to pursue. We have over 15 of them. But essentially for the management option, you'll take courses that cover the fundamentals of business throughout your undergrad, and it's made up of 8 courses. And then lastly, right here that Connor's been giving you a great tour of is LH 1001. It's our 1,000-seat lecture hall, and you'll have a lot of intro first-year classes here, such as micro and macroeconomics in first year, intro to accounting, because again, first year is very general, but this lecture hall has also been very built because it holds some of our special events such as convocation and guest speaker.
That's so awesome. I know even as a arts student, I have been in LH 1001 for guest speakers, big class sizes, anything. So you definitely don't need to be in the Faculty of Business to utilize this beautiful building, and I do recommend it. But another thing that I noticed is that when I came to Laurier, everyone gets involved. It really makes the most of your experience. And for those business students who are interested in case competitions or getting involved in those business aspects, is there any clubs or associations that they're able to enhance their business experience
Yeah, for sure. So we actually have LASSOC, which is the Lazzaretti Student Society, which is a student-run organization that oversees 21 clubs such as Sports Management, Startup Laurier, Women in Leadership Laurier, GDCC, Laurier Marketing Association, DECA, and so much more. So there's definitely something for everyone, no matter your interest, there's definitely something there. You'll also see them boothing in the atrium a lot of times. You can just go up to them, talk to them about being a general member, or if they're hiring a position on their executive team, there's tons of opportunities.
Yeah, you're really never bored. You'll find something that you'll be interested in.
I love studying in Laz. That second floor kind of balcony area is my favorite because you get to kind of focus on your studies, but then when you get bored, you can kind of watch everyone run between classes, and it's kind of fun.
No,
People
exactly.
is one of my favorite things to do when I'm bored from studying.
Yeah, exactly. So here we are at Laurier International. So we're going to take a step in and take a look. So Laurier International has 2 main purposes. The first is to handle incoming international students for their study at Laurier. So we do that by supporting them through a lot of different things, but such as international orientation and international support for them. We also have student leaders there to support them along the way and make sure they can make the best of their time, not only in Canada, but at Laurier as well. We also support outgoing Laurier students for international exchange. So whether you want to study somewhere like France or Hong Kong, go away for that exchange, get that cultural experience and add to your not only your degree, but your life in total, they're definitely a great option there. We're affiliated with over 60 institutions in over 20 countries, so there are definitely a lot of options. And with those affiliated schools, the great thing is you pay Laurier tuition, you don't pay the tuition of that school you're attending, which means you look after your room and board, and then you would be paying what you would be paying if you were attending school in Waterloo. So it definitely is a nice plus side for such the experience you get. And I've heard from some of my friends who've gone on exchange, they would never regret going. They said it was one of the most amazing experiences they've ever had.
So is anybody able to do an exchange? How essentially do you as a Laurier student get to do that?
Yeah, so if you want to go on exchange, you need at least 10 credits, which means most people do it in their 3rd or 4th year. If you're in business, you're going to do it in your 4th year because some of the required courses and events that go on. But once you do that, you can apply to go on exchange, and you can look at your different schools. Different institutions in different countries offer different programs. So then you get to take a look and see where you're interested in going and getting that experience.
That's so nice. A lot of my friends go in the winter times because you get to escape our Canadian cold here.
I have a question as well. What if you're interested in traveling or doing those types of learning, but you're not really comfortable going abroad for an entire semester.
Yeah, so a lot of our programs offer experiential learning, and we'll definitely have Wendy talk about that later when we're at our co-op center, but there are definitely a lot of options if you maybe don't want to go on exchange or that's not an option for you.
That's awesome. It's nice because you still get that little travel bug out of you, but you don't have to commit for a full semester away from your home at Laurier. Right now, we are in one of my favorite buildings. It actually just underwent renovations as well, so that's why it looks all beautiful, white, and bright. Here is the Welcome Center. So that is the home to all 4 of us ambassadors. When you finally get to come and tour Laurier, this is where you're going to be greeted and start your tour. But this is called the Peters Building, and it is home to the Faculty of Arts. Just straight ahead, we have Frank's Cafe. So like Wendy said in LAS, where there is a study space, there is a caffeine place, because we all know we need that to thrive. And then there's also a big lecture hall where a lot of first year and upper year students are going to have their classes. Just to the left, we're going to head into the arts atrium, and this is actually called the Schlegel Building. So the Faculty of Arts, the one thing I really liked is when I was applying to school, I kind of didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I'm really glad I chose the faculty I did, because it is very, very interdisciplinary. You get to explore your passions and your interests on a variety of programs and topics. So the Faculty of Arts is actually, it has over 30 programs. So you're going to find something that interests you. And when you come into your first year, you're only going to have about 2 to 3 core classes that you have to take. And the rest, 7 and 8, are electives across the board. So for myself, I'm in English, but I also took classes in poli-sci and communications and anthropology and history, just to see where those interests were. And once I realized that I loved geography and education, that's when I met with my academic advisor. So at the end of your first year, I do recommend talking with your arts advisors. They are great. And if you really want to like gear in and specialize on your degree, you can add on those minors, those options, an extra major, and really enhance your program. On top of that, we have the Accessible Learning Center. So that is actually on the 2nd floor of the Peters Building. And it really gives you the opportunity to succeed in your classes, whether you need that extra help or not. So they have student success workshops and webinars, as well as if you have documented invisible or visible disabilities, you're able to get that extra accommodation needed for you to be a successful student. It also opens up a lot of volunteer opportunities if you want to be a note taker for your class. So just ahead of us here, we have Service Laurier, and this is a one-stop shop for all admissions and program questions that you may have. So whether it is about your tuition or invoice, you can come here and they'll definitely be able to answer what you need.
The 3rd floor of this building is one of my favorite spots to study, because there's just like 1 or 2 sets of chairs. So it's really kind of out of the way, but I can still hear everything going on in that little atrium there. It's definitely a nice place to study if I know I have a lot to get done.
Yeah, that's what I love about the arts building, is that they're so big, because you are accounting for a lot of students. And it seems intimidating, but it's really not. The one thing I love about the Faculty of Arts is that although you do have those big class sizes in your first year, because like I said, it's very interdisciplinary, so it's very exploratory for students to take a lot of electives, you actually get to break down those class sizes in stuff called labs and tutorials. So these are run by upper year students, faculty members, master's students, and it's just, you take those big class sizes and you group everyone into smaller groups of like 25 to 30 people, and it's just an extra instruction throughout the week or bi-weekly. Whether you have questions, you debrief, it's more conversation based than lecture based. You get that like extra information you need to succeed in the class. And then what I love about the Faculty of Arts, and I'm assuming it is the same for your science and business and music programs, is you get more specialized as you go up in your years. So in your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year, everyone kind of finds the classes that they like to take. So they do get smaller, and you really get to know your classmates and your professors one-on-one.
The great thing about doing like a virtual tour is we don't have to do the walking now. We're just clicking through.
Exactly. You're magically at the library. All right. So as you will see in this picture, our library is a towering 7 floors. So don't worry, there's tons of study spaces for everyone. We have individual spaces as well as group study spaces that you can book online ahead of time to study with your friends. The little thing about our 7 floors is that the higher you get in the library, the quieter the floors get. So our 7th floor is actually called the Silent 7. Now, I personally can't study unless I have some snacks handy, so I study on about the 4th or 5th floor so I can have a few snacks, ask a friend a question without getting dirty looks. But I had a friend who actually went to the 7th floor, brought a bag of carrots, started chomping away while they were studying, quickly realized that that was a horrible idea, got shushed, got dirty looks from other people, and moved down to where the cool kids study with the snacks. But it is a really great space if you really just need to grind away and study for an exam. That's a really great place to do that. We also have department-specific librarians at our library, which is super helpful because there's so many different programs and departments within Laurier, and with 7 floors, it's really easy to get lost and not really know where to find your resources. So you can talk to your department-specific librarian and they'll be able to help you navigate where to find the resources that will be best fitting to you and your needs. So that's a little bit about the library. Right beside the library, you might be able to see the bell. Connor, maybe you can circle it with your mouse or something. So that is the Martin Luther University College, which is home to our Christian Studies and Global Citizenship program. Just went under a renovation a few years ago. It is one of my personal favorite buildings to study in and just be in on campus. It's a really beautiful space, and it's open to all Laurier students. You don't have to have classes there to use that space. The last thing I'll mention, which is just across the street from the library, is our Indigenous Student Center. And this center exists to help Indigenous students and support them in whatever way they need, regardless of the extent to which they identify with their heritage. So you can access that in whatever way you see fit. Another purpose that they serve is to eliminate racism and discrimination on campus. And they do that through education and different workshops and activities that you can get involved in as a student or a staff or faculty member.
That's awesome, Holly. So do you have to be Indigenous to participate in anything?
So no, the services that they offer in the Indigenous Student Center, some of them are specific to those who identify as Indigenous, but all of the workshops and education activities that I was talking about is open to all Laurier students and staff and faculty members. And another really great thing that they have is free Soup Tuesdays. So every Tuesday after my psych lecture, my friends and I would run over to the Indigenous Student Center, grab some hot soup. It's a really great way to catch up with friends, meet new people, and just learn more about what the Indigenous Student Center does.
So cool. I would love hot soup or worm soup after class.
Mm-hmm. I miss it with everything virtual. I'll do my own Soup Tuesdays. Not free.
Alrighty, guys. So now we're standing in the Concourse, the heart of campus. It's also the spot where you can't go more than a few minutes without seeing someone you know. And again, that's really one of the best parts of Laurier is that tight-knit community feel. Oftentimes between classes, I'll walk through here and see someone I know and start catching up with them. And before you know it, I have to run to get to class, but I wouldn't have it any other way. We have a ton of chairs and tables here for students to study or just hang out. And as we say, where there's a study space, there's a coffee place. So conveniently in the heart of our campus, we have our on-campus Starbucks, which is right over there. The space is it's a bit of a louder study space. So if that's more of your thing, where seeing other people studying motivates you to study, then this is definitely a good spot for you. Right along the wall on our right, we have the One Card office, and this is where you'll go to get your student card that'll hold everything you need, hence your One Card. This card has your meal plan, your gym membership, bus pass, library card, residence access for some, and of course your ID. Now on the upper level, we have right in front of us the bookstore, and this is where you get all your textbooks, new, used, or rentals. And the great thing about our bookstore is that textbooks are competitively sold at publisher's list price, so you know you're getting a great deal. You can order them online at the beginning of each semester and actually conveniently pick them up at those 2 windows right over there on the right. This is also where you'll find Laurier gifts, clothing, merchandise, and there's also a tech shop inside there. And lastly, this is a great place for part-time student employment. Also, this large space right here is often used for campus club boothing, either for fundraisers or just to promote clubs. Sometimes we'll get external companies coming in to promote and sell their own products. I know whenever I say that, I always think of the fudge lady who comes here and sells fresh fudge. It's always a delicious snack that you can just grab on your way to class. And lastly, right here on the right, we have the hub. This is our on-campus printing, photocopying, binding, and laminating service. So if you don't bring a printer to Laurier, don't worry. We've got you covered. It's very cheap, about 10 cents a page. And we also have deals for students. And if the hub is closed, we have many self-serve printers around campus right on the left that are usable 24/7. And the hub is also a great place for part-time student employment if you're looking for a job while you're at school. And then now we're gonna head on over to a bit of the other part of the Fred Nichols Campus Center, and then Connor's gonna talk a bit more about it.
Okay, so here we're in the Fred Nichols Campus Center. This area is a nice little hub of everything you kind of need if you're on campus. So just here we have Wills, which you can see, and it says Laurier lives there just underneath the title. And I find that to be very true because there's weekly, nightly programming offered, whether it be bingo, trivia, open mic, or another event that's taking place. All of the food there is amazing. There's tons of options. You can pay with flex dollars or convenience dollars, your cash, debit, credit, anything like that. And there's always just a nice environment there with some great food. Personally, one of my favorites is the Seagram with rock and roll sauce and then some spin dip with all pita. So just next to it, we have International News. International News is kind of like a convenience store on campus. So whether you need a water bottle, maybe some water, some chips, something like that, just something to keep you going while you're studying. Because I know, like Holly said, some of us are study snackers. So it's there in case you need it. And it's nice to have it on campus right there. And just here we have our U-Desk. So our U-Desk is kind of your one-stop shop for students. They sell things like tickets to varsity games. They can give you information about the health and dental plan. You can rent a locker through there, which I know I did last year. You can also get your inks refilled or tickets to different events that are happening on campus. So it's really one place where you can get a lot of things done while you're on campus. And then just down here, we have our beloved Hawk. So moral of the story is you don't step on the hawk. There's a ton of reasons as to why people think you shouldn't, but overall for me, it's just kind of the respect for our school and who we are. One of my favorite things is watching 400 people walk in this hallway between classes and just a giant circle forming out in the middle of the hallway because everyone's avoiding stepping on the hawk. So it makes it a really funny time, but it's nice to see that we all kind of have this common respect for just an emblem on the ground, but it represents who we are as students. So we're going to imagine we're going one floor up. On that floor, we have our 24-hour study lounge, our Dean of Students office, and our Students Union office. And you may be wondering, what's the Students Union? The Students Union is the best way to say it. It's us. They represent us. They represent everything you want to do aside from your studies. So whether it be you want to join a club or start your own club, they can give you funding for that. We also offer a ton of different committees to help support our students, whether it be a food bank service or an emergency response team or a safe walk home service such as our foot patrol, which I'm one of the executives on. So I can definitely vouch for what we do. And it really just makes the lives of our students on campus way better, and we're there to support all of our students. We're going to imagine now we go one more floor up, and there we have the turret. So the turret is a multi-event space that in the day you can study and maybe there's some meetings going on in there, and then at night it can be rented out for events, speakers, dinners, things like that. So maybe a residence banquet or an event as a part of the orientation week. It's a great space to have because it can be used for a lot of different things. And it's nice to have because instead of taking a bus to your event, you can just walk up some stairs and you're right there.
Speaking of walking up some stairs, as we go to the left, there's 2 flights of stairs there. And actually in my first year, I was walking up those stairs and I tripped and I was so embarrassed. Got up, pretended like it didn't happen, went up the next flight and tripped again and literally just bolted. I didn't want to know if anyone had seen me or not. But that's a good thing about doing the tour online is that we don't have to walk down those stairs.
I remember like every time you do the tour and you hit those stairs, like you're trying not to speak to people because you're just trying to get your breath. Like you do not want to walk and talk on those. Mm-hmm. Just actually to the left of the stairs, you're going to find the terrace food court. You can kind of see the little RT at the end. And that is open to all students. A lot of people think it's the first year cafeteria, but it's open to students, faculty, staff, guests, whoever comes to Laurier can utilize it. I like it because it's 2 floors. On the top, you have all your greasy university needs. You have your pizza, your Harvey's, your sub, your Mexican place. And then on the bottom is your healthier options. So that's Williams Fresh Cafe, Union Market, which has fresh wraps, quesadillas, mac and cheese, and then as well as fresh bento sushi. And then just to the right, which Connor's going to point us to, is our dining hall. So this is primarily where a lot of first years are going to be eating. Depending on what kind of residence you're in first year is going to depend what your meal plan's going to look like. Holly's going to expand a little bit more on residence once we go on. But for now, if you are in apartment style, you're actually not going to have a meal plan with the dining hall. You're going to get something called flex dollars. What I like to describe flex dollars is as a declining balance that you can use at any of our on-campus stops. So you can use it at the dining hall, but a lot of people tend to use it as Wilf's because, like Connor said, the spin dip is amazing and they are just like a really good restaurant. But you can use it at the Terrace Food Court as well, and Tim Hortons, Starbucks, any of those caffeine places. If you are in the traditional dormitory style residence, that's when you're going to be getting a meal plan with the dining hall. So we offer 2 different types of meal plans. There's a 5-day, Monday to Friday, and a 7-day. You would get the Monday to Friday if you go home a lot or like to eat out in the Waterloo area during the weekends. But if you're like me and can't really drive home on the weekends, I did the 7-day plan. I love the dining hall, mostly because I am a very, very picky eater, but I loved eating here because of its buffet style. So the way it works is you pay a lump sum at the beginning of the year and you get to go unlimited times through a day. So it's not like that declining balance on the flex dollars, but if you are a traditional dormitory style res student, you do get a little bit of flex money as well, and it is reloadable. Back to the dining hall. So with that buffet style, there's a bunch of different stations. In the morning, you have a make your own omelet station, eggs any way you want it, the best tater tots ever, and then those classic comforts. And then in that nighttime, it turns into the omelet bar is now a make your own pasta bar. There's a stir fry station that is super popular. There's a grill with your meats and your curly fries and those kinds of sides, as well as a salad bar, the dessert bar you cannot forget about, the pizza bar, kind of just literally anything. You will not starve. That's definitely where the freshman 15 comes from. But on top of that, you'll be okay. And if you have any extra accommodation you do need, you just go to the dining hall services and they are very, very accommodating. Also, like I said, if you are not a morning person and you're super late running to class, you can go in, grab an apple, grab a banana, and bring it back. And then those unlimited entries allows you to go once you have a bit more time to sit down and have a meal. And across from the dining hall, we also have our special constable services. They are absolutely amazing. Everyone's a little intimidated by them, but they are so friendly. All they want to do is have a conversation with you, check in how you're doing, and they really make our campus community safe. They are there 24/7, 365. So while we're at home having Christmas dinner, they're still here making sure everyone is happy and safe.
Awesome. All right. So as we come out of the dining hall, you'll see kind of in between the Fred Nichols Campus Center and the dining hall, we have Veritas. This is my personal favorite place on campus to get coffee. It's also a really nice place to study and catch up with friends. And there's a little patio outside too, so you can enjoy the good weather up until it gets cold. And also we have the quad right in front of that. It's the little green patch of grass. This is a really fun space to just hang out outside, but it's also a place that we use in orientation week. It's probably best known for the headphone disco, which is an activity in orientation week where you put on headphones and tune in to a DJ station and basically dance and have the time of your life. But it's honestly more fun to watch, in my opinion, than it is to participate, because you walk by and see all these first year students having the time of their lives, but you literally can't hear a thing. It's pretty hilarious. Now, right in front of the quad, we have Wilf, or Wilfrid Laurier. He's who we named our school after. So fun fact about Wilf, he's actually never set foot on Laurier campus. When we opened in 1911, we were actually called Waterloo Lutheran University. Then we became publicly funded in 1973, so we had to change our name, but the librarians had already stamped all the books WLU, didn't want to have to change that, so we looked through a list of Canadian prime ministers, found one that fit. Bam, Wilfrid Laurier University. All right, so as we turn around, Wilf is looking at CSETI, which stands for the Center for Student Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. This includes the Association of Black Students, Center for Women and Trans People, the Rainbow Center, and Multi-Faith Resource Team. And this is a really great way to get involved on campus, whether or not you identify with any of those groups. Laurier takes pride in our safety, and we really want everyone to feel like they are welcome and safe on campus. And CSETI is one of the main reasons why Laurier is #1 in student satisfaction and why our students really love being here and they feel so included. So definitely get involved there. It's a really great experience to add to your Laurier experience.
Before, when we were at the Fred Nichols building, I was mentioning the health and dental plan, and I know it's located just up there. Bree, could you talk on that at all?
That's exactly what I was just going to say. You read my mind. I love it. This area is the heart of campus. You have your concourse, you have your food places, you have literally everything you need. And like Connor was saying, with that health and dental place, you do need somewhere to go on campus. So we do have our wellness center up there. What our wellness center is, it's for all students. You don't need to be a part of the health and dental program to use it. And it has counselors, doctors, therapists, physiotherapists, kind of just an array of resources you may need if you need to seek medical attention. The staff is great. You can make online appointments and as well as in-person appointments. If you do need a bit more medical care, that's what our One Card is for. Just like Wendy said, you can take a bus up to Grand River, which is just a short trip up the street.
Yeah, I've definitely been there a few times, and they're always so nice. Whether it be getting my hand caught in a door, maybe just a cold, like they're always so nice about it, and they're a lot of fun there.
Mm-hmm. I also really like that they do Fresh Fruit Fridays, so you can stop in their office and grab a piece of fresh fruit, which is really helpful, especially in your upper years when you're buying all your own groceries. Any little bit helps.
Holly knows
Yeah,
where the
so
food is.
That's so true.
So, welcome to our science building, home to our Faculty of Science. So, the Faculty of Science is Laurier's fastest growing faculty with 4,000 full-time students, 112 full-time faculty members, and 31 programs comprised over 7 different departments. So, you may be wondering why study science at Laurier? And I know for me and a lot of people, it's the experience you get. You get that hands-on experience in your programs to make sure you have that experience you need going forward so that you can enter the world of work and go forward from that. So speaking of experience and hands-on work, we're going to go up to one of our labs here. So here we are in one of our chemistry labs. As you can see, it's a smaller number of students, which is one of the great things about Laurier, is especially in labs, you get smaller groups of students, which means you not only get better connections with your peers, but also better connections with instructors, TAs, IAs, and a whole bunch of different people. One of my favorite things is that one of my lab instructors last year, I had a few questions and then we ended up becoming very close. And then the next year I had some questions about the field of study that he worked in. So we just got a cup of coffee and talked about that. So it's really great to make those kind of connections. And you may be wondering, labs in computer science, whether it's working in a chemistry lab or in a physics lab. With computer science as well, you get labs, whether it be coding or building circuits that make different LEDs light up and do things depending on different kinds of input. So there's a lot of hands-on experience, which makes science so great at Laurier and makes it so worth it when you come to Laurier for that science opportunity. We mentioned earlier the opportunity for field work or community work, like say with our water science program. You could go out into the community, do some field work with collecting samples around Grand River, and then have that be a part of your education in science at Laurier. So there's a lot of big plus sides to this. That amazing atrium we started in is such a lovely place to study, especially with the live trees and the overhead lights. It's a great place to study as well.
Yeah, and speaking of labs, we also have a bit of a unique thing at Laurier. We have math labs, and these are weekly or bi-weekly mini quizzes that test your understanding of the content you learned the week or the weeks prior. It usually involves a written component that you can work with the people around you, and then at the end, an quick online quiz, in-person quiz. It's super helpful for keeping you on top of the content, especially in math classes where it's one of those subjects that constantly builds on what you're learning.
Yeah, and what's also great about that additional instruction is that you don't need it scheduled in your timetable in order to receive it. If you want extra help, there's so many resources available. We have our writing center where if you do create a lab report, if you have a business proposal, if you have an English essay, whatever you need, you can bring it into the writing center and they're going to look it over with you and get it to the best of your ability. On top of that, we have something called SI and SOS, and this is a supplementary instruction session where you could potentially get bonus marks depending on the class for attending, and it really just walks you through certain aspects of the class. You can ask questions, and it really gets your learning to where you need to be in order to be successful.
Yeah, I personally used SI all the time in first and second year. It was so, so helpful, and it's part of the reason why I did well in some of my harder classes. Another awesome service that is a really good thing to take advantage of is your professor's office hours. So they have an hour or two every week where they're just sitting in their office waiting to talk to students. And it's just such a great way to get to know your profs. They're really not scary. And you can ask them questions relating to assignments or course content. Super, super helpful.
Yeah. So now we're actually going to move on to co-op. As you can see, we're just outside of the Faculty of Science building, and right across the street, we have the Co-op and Career Center. So co-op is available to business, economics, arts, and science students, and we have the largest business co-op in Canada, placing around 400 students each year. And co-op is guaranteed for all double degree students and mandatory for all UW double degree students. And by guaranteed, we mean into the co-op program. You still have to work to get a job. You have to work on make sure your cover letter is good, your resumes, and that you ace those interviews. We also place around 150 arts and science students in co-op per year. So how you get into co-op is heavily weighted on your first year. At the end of your first year, we look at your GPA, and if it meets the competitive average of that year, which fluctuates every year depending on the quantity and caliber of applications, then you'll get invited to do an interview at the beginning of second year where you tell us about any past work experience, volunteer, or leadership experiences. And if you do well in the interview, we invite you to be part of our co-op program. Business students complete 3 work terms, and art and science students will complete 2 work terms. We also have over 1,800 employers actively recruiting Laurier students and alumni each year. And I've actually played Ultimate one summer and had a teammate tell me that his company mainly hires Laurier co-op students and that he always sees them around, which just goes to show how our co-op department really works hard in making those connections with companies to create these jobs for us. We also have experiential learning, where you actually go out into the field and get your hands dirty. Like in that second picture here, part of the archaeology program, it's actually mandatory to go out in the field and do some active work. Now, one thing I usually like to point out is to students coming on campus and taking a tour is to go to your parents or guardians and ask if they had co-op growing up. And if they didn't, it just goes to show that you don't need co-op in order to be successful, because just look at the amazing examples right in front of you. But even more so, if you don't get co-op, you don't have to worry. The Career Center is here for you. They run tons of resume, cover letter, interview workshops that you can take advantage of to feel prepared to enter the workplace. There's also a very large job board where they'll post non-co-op jobs for students, including part-time summer jobs, full-time jobs after you graduate. So that's all there for you. One last amazing thing about the Career Center is that they claim once a Golden Hawk, always a Golden Hawk. So if you graduate in 2 or 20 years and down the line you want to pivot your career, you're more than welcome to come back and they'll help you get on track and where you want to be. Alrighty, so we just crossed over our alumni field. It's a really awesome place to just watch. Sometimes you'll often see people throwing around a disc, and you can just go up to them and join them. Everybody's super nice and inviting here. But now we're in our athletic complex. This is the only one we have. And to the right, we have our triple gym, where we run intramurals like volleyball and dodgeball. We also offer drop-in gym spaces, which students can come in and just shoot some hoops. Along with intramurals, we have recreational clubs and competitive clubs, which is where you'll see more of the regulated practices and the opportunity to travel outside of Waterloo to represent Laurier in competitions like women's ultimate, women's flag football, figure skating, and you can find a lot more about the types of the different clubs we offer on the Laurier Athletics website.
I love the gym because it's so multi-purpose. Like right now you can see the dividers down and it's separated into the 3 gyms for students to play their intramurals at. On top of that, we also have our Hawk Shop. The one thing I always say about the Hawk Shop is everyone seems to like it more because it's all your Laurier swag you need, but it doesn't have the books. So it's exactly like the bookstore, but it's just a little more fun. On top of that, we also have our pool just down the hallway there. And this is a great place for our varsity team to train. They have open lane swim for any of our students, as well as it's the home to the Intramural Water Polo League. One story I always like to share is that ever since our first year, I have had friends play on the Wet Willies. It's named after their first year residents, Willison, and they have come back every single year and have played in the league. So it's kind of fun because you just come meet once a week and you're pushing each other off of inner tubes and just enjoying a break from school for once. On top of that, the athletic complex has over 350 opportunities for student employment. So whether you're interested in lifeguarding, reffing some intramural sports games, you can run kids club at some of our varsity games, as well as just working at the hawk desk or more administrative roles like that. You can get a little bit of extra income in your pocket. On top of that, underneath those stairs that Connor just passed is also where our squash courts are. We have dance studios, and it's just a little bit of extra space for students to go and enjoy.
So here we are in the more of a gym section and the more fitness center based area of our gym. So here we have all sorts of machinery, whether it be free weights, actual machines, or cardio machines just over there. That way you can kind of design the way you want to work out and kind of organize your workout routine the way you want to have it be. So along with the ability to come in and work out here, because it is included with your tuition, so you don't have to pay any extra to access these facilities. We do have drop-in classes, personal training, classes such as Zumba or different dance classes. That way you can get involved and really enjoy what you're doing and kind of find a way to let all that energy out and do something like that. So it's a lot of awesome opportunities here for students.
I remember in first year, I was so nervous to go to the gym, so I made my Dawn come with me. But are there anything for students if they don't feel comfortable working at the gym?
Yeah, so I mean, the great thing about Laurier is our community. So say if you're working in the open gym area and you're not sure how to do something or you're new to the gym, if you were to just go up and ask someone, they're more than likely just going to take out their headphones, say, "Oh yeah, what's going on?" and like be able to help you with that, which is great. But say if you're not exactly comfortable with that and you want to and you're a woman and you want to work out in our women's only section during certain hours of the day, that's on the second floor up there. It's one specific section that is closed off, and it's just for women during certain hours of the day to make sure you're comfortable and you can live your active lifestyle and not have to worry about anything while you're doing that.
Great. All right. So we have seen tons of campus. We've seen where you study, where you go to class, where you eat, where you get extra help. You guys are probably wondering, where do I live? Looking at this big panoramic view, you'll be able to see lots of our residence buildings. So we do have lots of residence buildings right in the center of campus. We also have some that are a little bit further of a walk, but we call it Laurier far because it's really not that far compared to other institutions, but it will take you no more than a 10-minute walk to get back to your residence or to get to campus from your residence. In terms of styles, we have a different variety of styles, which Bree sort of mentioned at the dining hall. So our dormitory style, you'll either have a single bedroom or a double dorm, where you'll be sharing a room with another roommate. And we also have apartment style residence, which is where you'll have your own bedroom and you'll live with about 4 or 5 other students, and you'll have a shared bathroom, common space, and kitchen. Another thing that we have in residence, which is fairly new in the past few years, is gender inclusive housing. So this is an option on your residence application where you actually don't have to specify your gender. So if that's something that you'd like to do, you'll be placed on a floor with other students who also mark their gender as unspecified. And on every single floor of residence, you'll have a residence life don, which is an upper year student who lives in residence with you and plans activities and is just really kind of your mom or dad for the year. Yeah, just your Laurier mom or dad. And another really awesome thing that we have is if you choose not to live in residence in your first year for whatever reason, you can still take part in residence activities through something we call LOCUS. This stands for Laurier Off-Campus University Students, and it's essentially residence without the walls. So you'll be put in a virtual floor, you'll be given a residence life don, and you'll still get to experience all the fun parts of residence, like getting to know friends, doing extra activities and socials together. So that's a really unique opportunity that we have. We also have something called House Council. So if you're in residence and you'd really like to get involved and meet people in your building, you can apply for House Council, and essentially they meet once a week to talk about different activities going on in the building. They'll plan study sessions, they'll plan the residence formal. My building went to a pumpkin patch in first year, so lots of fun activities like that in residence. And we would really encourage you guys to go look at our residence YouTube playlist, and you can take a look at all of our residences, which is super helpful.
That's exactly what I did before school, as I was searching up all the different styles when planning on what residence I wanted to put as my number one choice. And now in my fourth year, I'm actually involved in residence life. I am a locust don, so I don't actually have to live on a residence floor with students, but I still provide that monthly programming of academic and social events, and it's been going great, and all the students seem to be so engaging. So definitely check that out if you are an off-campus student and you still get provided that same experience. On top of that, I just wanted to point out the solar panels. Connor's going to do a lovely scoop with the clicker. Those are on top of some of our residences, our athletic complex, and a couple other buildings in the Laurier community. And it's part of our sustainability action plan. So this is a part of LEAP, which is Laurier's energy efficient project, and we're looking to improve energy conservation and management on our campus. So if this is something that interests you, awesome. But like Connor said, there's something called the Students Union, which hosts an umbrella of clubs. There's a club called EcoHawks that you can get involved in, and that's really like educating our Laurier students on what it means to lead a green lifestyle. So they do events like upcycling old shirts into grocery bags, or even just doing community campus cleanups. On top of that, you have those options, like I said, to add on to your degree. You can add on a sustainability option, a social entrepreneurship option where you deal with real life social problems. And all of these reasons is exactly why our campus is the #1 greenest in Ontario, which is another stat that we're really proud of.
Yeah. Also, you can see in the over top view, there's a ton of apartment buildings and houses outside of the Block University. And these are all upper year housing. So after first year, after you're done residence, you don't have to worry about where you're going to live. There's tons of options for everybody's price points and needs. So, and how far you want to be. So that's all covered. There's always lots of living possibilities and options. But yeah, that concludes our tour. We want to thank everybody again for joining us. We understand that choosing a university can be very hard, and we at Laurier want to support you every step of the way. So if you do have any questions, we invite you to make an AMA appointment and ask me anything, either with us or any of our other lovely ambassadors. We also have a lot of other YouTube videos like this one and like the ones, like the residence ones Holly was mentioning. So go check those out.
Yeah, so in conclusion, I know choosing a university can be a very stressful thing. I know I personally had moments where I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. It's too stressful. This is too much stress in my life. I'm too young to be this stressed about something, right? And the #1 piece of advice I would give is find a university that fits you. Unless you're looking for a program that is very specific to a certain university, you're going to be able to find something quite similar across all Ontario universities, which means you're going to get the same caliber of education, but it's more about what fits you. If that's Laurier, fantastic, that's amazing. I really hope to see you on campus someday. If that's not, that's perfectly fine. Choose what's right for you and make sure you're living your best lifestyle. And other than that, we just want to say, stay golden, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.